Mr. B. Sharma, IS Secretary Education, UT Chandigarh, Mr. R.S. Brar, PCS Director, Education, UT, Shri Ravi Santlani, the creator of all this here, Mr. Jagpreet Singh, PPS, Principal PPS Naba, doing a great job in Naba, and he can drag me anywhere because that's the school that I had also. Mr. Pramod Sharma, then there's the Mayo College, so I have to name them. Otherwise, they'll all be disappointed, and I have to because I've been chairman of the Mayo College committee, and Pramod, General Surinder Kulkarni, and also Sumer, who's not been in Mayo, but he's been with us in many, many ways. Mr. Neeraj Vedotia, who left us for greener pastures in Indore. Mr. Gurinder Uppal, who's come from Canada. Rona, where is he? Thank you for coming. The three ladies who spoke to me, and I was a little worried. I thought, speaking after three ladies, thank God Neeraj came in the way. So it's okay, otherwise. But before I start, I must say that I had gone for a convocation, and this is for the women empowerment. I had gone to a convocation in Faridkot. There's our university there, the medical university. And I was telling my VC, Raj Bahadur there, that most of the colleges are women colleges. No, sir, why? Because I see 80% of them women who are graduating, MBBS, postgraduate, whatever. This is no, but they are making into the merit, the boys are not, so what can we do? So that is what is happening. So I thought if Neeraj had not come in, I thought it's the women who are really looking after the education here. I'm very happy to be here on this important meet on education, and which is at such an opportune time. You started yesterday, the 550th Prakash Parv of Shri Guru Nanak Dev Ji. I was there yesterday, and I bring the best tidings from Sultanpur Lodi to you all. Guru Nanak Dev Ji was the greatest teacher, not only of his times, but even today. He traveled far and wide teaching people the message of one God who dwells in every one of his creations. Guru Nanak Dev Ji always emphasized 3 rules to all people that should live by. Naam Japo, recite the name of the Lord, and actually it means what Neeraj was talking about, nature, creator, everything. Kirat karo, do an honest day's work, which is so very important. 1 chako, share your food. It's not just share your food, share whatever you have. And I think it is so right here because teachers are not just teachers. They are sharing their knowledge. They are making people. So it's so important. And just in 3 things, he's been able to say so much. And you can expand it to whatever levels you want to. And I'm sure you all can do it. Let us follow the steps of Guru Nanak Dev as your teachers and continue to inspire all to path of righteousness and the service of humanity. Again, a very good morning to you all. I am delighted to see Dr. Swati Vats and all the teachers here and all the distinguished guests. It gives me an immense pride to address the entire fraternity of educators who have been brought in one room thanks to the efforts of ScooNews. As we start today at the New India Education Summit 2019, I strongly believe that it will prove to be a great platform starting yesterday to interact with the forerunners of India's education evolution. It will be a great venue to attend talks by leading experts in the education sphere to discover the latest educational practices, to explore new educational concepts and networks with industry experts. I hope you all make the best use of this opportunity to learn, unlearn, and relearn. With the aim of setting a path towards a new India, this summit is focused on preparation and implementation. I sincerely hope that the top minds of the industry will work towards strengthening the framework and building the infrastructure for the future of our nation's education. I'm happy to share the Chandigarh Education Department has always been in the forefront in building in positive changes that created an impact on students and teachers. Recently, the UT administration has shared guidelines for no bag day, integrated classrooms, reading literacy and visits under the program for international students assessment PISA, preparedness with the principals and heads of all the government-aided and private schools of the UT. I think you are all aware that in the NITI Aayog parameters, Chandigarh came first, not just in UP, but in all the states as well. And we've been working on it because I've been here for the last 3 years and we've been working on it. And what did I do? I'm not in education that way. I can claim one to be, but what I really did was every 6 months or so, I used to get teachers, the headmasters, headmistresses, principals, just speak to them. What are your issues? What do you want? And don't say that we want to transfer from one place to another. But what you want to do in classes, what is missing, how we can help you. And I must congratulate my director and the secretary who have been at it every single day. And that's how we have come first. It is just interacting, and I also offer to them, can we have extended classes where a boy or a girl or a student can go home without a homework and spend quality time with the parents, and they are not pressurized. But I'm afraid only 2 head mistresses, and I think only 2 of them took up this challenge. Because, for doing this, you have to put in extra work. Nobody is ready to put in that. So that is an issue, but I'm happy that there were 2 schools who volunteered, and it's a great experience. The other thing that I did here was, Chandigarh is a very different city. It's a haven for lots of people. People come and want to stay here. It has all the facilities. It's a modern city. It's got And the people here are pampered, so I like them because they are pampered, because all the issues come to me a little more than other cities. They complain more. But that is the first thing that I do in every morning is look up what are their complaints, get all my officers, let's sort it out. And the second day is the same thing, and the third day is the same thing. We have, and I don't know if you haven't seen them, go and see our sports complexes. Every third or fourth sector has a sports complex with a swimming pool, with badminton, with all the other facilities. Then we have the cricket association, we have the hockey, we have the football training centers, all those things we have. So what I did was, all the schools around the sports complexes, I said they should be attached with these sports complexes. So in the morning and the evening, they are available for the locals around that place. But in the daytime, they are available to those schools. So every school has an access to a swimming pool, badminton, squash, whatever they want to play. And I think that also makes our sector schools so important. The first time I went to a sector school, I couldn't believe it. The classrooms were larger than Mayo College, if I can say so. Because, we had old ones, we are converting them and all. And they are the new ones. And I said, there must be about 50 children to a class. This is not more than 30. In my sector schools. And when there are lots of requests that come to the governor, Raj Bhavan, that we want an admission in a private school here, because the private schools are doing also very well. And I said, no, I'm not going to recommend even one single boy to the private school, because we have such good schools. And let me share with you that the other day, another principal was with me, Jan Lalodra. And I was telling him this same story, and you know what he said? He says, you'll be surprised. My two boys went to sector schools and they are in US doing so well. So that is what our sector schools are. If you have the time, please visit them. Coming back to what Niti Aayog recently did in that index. And I believe that the teachers are at the helm of any education system, that we need to equip them with the right knowledge and tools so that they can give their best. The teacher training is of utmost importance, which has been said so many times, especially in this age and age where change is the only constant. But do we want to put our teachers through numerous training sessions or have them attend a few sessions, audited for quality, that can enable them to enhance their skills effectively? This is a question we need to ask ourselves. One of the things that I always say, that why is it that the NRIs, especially in US, are doing so well? And somebody pointed it out today in the sessions earlier. The NRIs are doing so well because the Indians who have gone there, and I don't know, Mr. Uppal, I hope will subscribe to what I am saying, that we invest into children more than the Americans or the Canadians do. Why? Because we think of our children more. And I say this with authority because in the US and wherever I've been there is this rivalry that if my neighbor has a better car, I must get a better car. If he has a better house, I must get to a better house. And that competition between them even at the cost of education, because education can at times be very expensive in US and Canada. But they would rather spend on a car or on a fridge or on a house than their children. The Indians who have gone there, their first priority is their children. And I think that is one, and somebody very rightly said, invest into your children. So investment that way, I think, so very important to invest into your child. And there are stories, even in the TEDx, you have stories where you have, you invest, बर्तन मांजने वाली ये वो investing into the child and where he's reached. So all those are stories that we all know about. Technology is everywhere and has become an inherent part of our lives today. As I'm speaking to you right now, my cell phone is keeping in my pocket with important messages, calls, mails, new notifications. It helps me to stay in touch with all what is happening around me. With technology advancing at an unfathomable pace in all areas of life, education, medicine, and so on. We need to brace ourselves for an impact if we are not ready to bring in relevant changes to include technology in our traditional classroom setup. For example, artificial intelligence is gaining momentum as a useful teaching aid. However, our schools are ready to embrace the technology to its fullest potential. Yet, this is something we need to figure out. Every childhood education lays the foundation for a future's education. Is early childhood education given due importance in India? It is heartening to note that early childhood education is slowly getting its due recognition and importance today. I appreciate the efforts of the Early Childhood Association of India in making this happen. I'm reminded of a story of Albert Einstein, and I think many of you would be knowing about it. When he was a young child in Germany, he was sent to a school there, and he was doing so badly, he was not interested in studies. And the teacher got fed up. Called the parent. Albert Einstein didn't have a father, just a mother. And a mother can be a teacher in so many ways. And the teacher said that I have not told Albert, but we can't leave. He is not interested, he is not wanting to learn, and I'm quite fed up and you'll have to do something about it. So and wrote a letter to him, says, please withdraw Albert from our school, we are not interested in keeping him anymore. The mother kept that letter, told Albert, you are so good in this school of yours. Teachers so impressed, they want to put you into a better school. And that's why I'm changing your school to this new school. Those words changed me. And what Albert Einstein is, I don't have to say. I have a story about my daughter also, very emotive about it. I sent her in the 5th class to New College Girls School. And she was miserable. She was not interested in studying. And because we were very close, I was in Jaipur, member of the Legislative Assembly, and would call her, we had to go look her up. And every time I was there in the board meeting, I used to look her up, and she was not just interested. She was not wanting to be there. So we withdrew, put her back into SMS in Jaipur. And in another year or so, I got to be a member of parliament. So I told my daughter, Divya, chalo, Delhi chalo. She says, no, I'm going back to MCGS. And when she went back to MCGS, she really made a name for herself. She was vice school captain and whatnot. But that is how a school atmosphere sometimes can drag you down also, and you can change with a new school. That should also be kept in mind. Even a teacher to teacher can make a difference. So I think that is also something that is very important. One of the other issues, I don't know, some people must have mentioned, is the medium of instructions. Now that's a big debate. Regional versus Hindi versus English, what has to be done? And we have issues which are hereditary. We can't really do away with this. Regional language, and I'm in Punjab. Punjabi is such a big language here. Everybody wants to learn it. But is it good enough? We have to overcome that issue somewhere. And I have a story about China, that when I was in China and I was told that there is only one language, Mandarin. And how it came about is very interesting. Mandarin, in I think 1500 or 16th century, there was an emperor, and they had the same sort of languages that we have in India. He called all the Pandits, the Brahminical order that was there that time, put them in a hall much larger than this, put them together and said, you have everything here, you can debate, eat, everything will be looked after. But you're sort of prisoners here till you decide on one language. You can fight, you can box, you can wrestle, but you have to come out with one language. And if you do that, otherwise you are going to be here permanently. And they came out with one language. So the other languages are there, but there is one language which is a common factor. And I think we can't do it now in India, I'm sure. But the best solution is you have the regional. And I've been fighting for Rajdhani for a long time to get it into the 8th schedule. I have not been able to do it. That was when I was member of parliament. I can't do it being apolitical in this gubernatorial place that I am in. But the regional, then Hindi and English. And for a child, I think it is easy to start learning more languages. Not very difficult. Lots of countries have this. 2 languages, 3 languages learning. I was recently in Kenya and I went for a safari. I've been wanting to do it for a very long time. And when I was there, I was wondering, they speak such good English. The cooks I went to speak to, the waiters, and they speak such, and they have lots of tribal languages which also they learn. And I was really surprised. So, and the whole country today, the Kenya, is surviving because of tourism and their game, of course, safari and whatnot. But service to them, and if they were not speaking good English, if they were not conveying, if they were not understanding, that would have been an issue. And one of the things that I told in one of our meetings in Chandigarh also, that every child, even if he's a small little child, 4 years, 5 years, whatever, give him 2 minutes to speak. And he can say anything, recite anything. Speaking is so very important. I always have a complex with these 3 ladies speaking so beautifully, and then I put after them. But it is so important. Today, speaking, poetry, and the confidence that you get. And I remember, I must tell you this story. When I got into politics, and I'm not a very good speaker, I was never a good speaker and orator. And at one of the big meetings, I was fumbling. Bhairav Singh, who was my mentor, 3 times Chief Minister, Vice President later on, he called me. He used to be a great teacher. And teacher can be of different levels. He used to teach us how to make questions in Vidhan Sabha, how to speak, how to... And he told me, he used to call me Bana. Bana is a very nice word, no? Bana. मैं आपको कुछ बताऊं तो बताइए. देखो, जब आप बोल रहे हो तो ये याद रखा करो कि जो सामने बैठे हैं ना, सब कुछ नहीं जानते बिल्कुल. I can't say all this for this audience, but the confidence level you get. And then when I used to see him conducting the Rajya Sabha, he was only 10 pass, but वहाँ पे कपिल सिब्बल और ये सब उनके सामने बहुत छोटे लगते थे. The way he used to conduct Rajya Sabha, he used to answer them. That was because of that confidence. So very important. In the end, it's sort of an ode to all the teachers here. And this is by Albert Camus, the Nobel Literature Prize winner in the 50s. And he writes to his teacher, Neeraj was saying something very similar. Dear Monsieur Germain, I left the commotion after he won the Nobel Prize. I let the commotion around me these days subside a bit before speaking to you from the bottom of my heart. I have just been given far too great an honor, one I neither sought nor solicited. But when I heard the news, my first thought after my mother was of you. Without you, without the affectionate hand you extended to the small poor child that I was. He was very poor. Without your teachings and example, none of all this would have happened. I don't make too much of this sort of honor, but at least it gives me the opportunity to tell you what you have been and still are for me, and to assure you that your efforts, your work, and the generous heart that you put into it still live in one of your little school boys who, despite the years, has never stopped being your grateful pupil. I embrace you with all my heart, Albert Camus. Thank you very much.
May I please request Mr. Ravi Singh and Mr. Dr. Jeffrey Singh to join us on stage?